Hello and welcome back.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening to everyone wherever you are. It is now 11:08 in the evening. That's Manila Standard Time. My name is David B. Together with my bro, the Sly Guy, and we have a very
What's
special
up?
guest. Sly, can you introduce him?
He's of the
I think there's
Nerdcast
something wrong with his internet.
and an amazing Superman fan. Superman introduce the Super Brian. Brian,
Hello, I am Super Vegan Brian. I'm one of the hosts of Nerd Podcast Radio, and I'm happy to be here today.
Thank you for spending time with us, Super V Brian. But I just want to ask, how long have you been collecting Superman comic books? Or can you still remember at what age do you recall being a Superman fan started?
I think I was probably around 8 or 9 years old. I mean, maybe younger than that with like cartoons and stuff. But I got my first comic was a Superman comic, and I don't remember the issue. I just remember it had to do with voodoo and Superman. It was the first time I learned about Superman's weakness to magic. Going back further, I think my first encounter with Superman was probably seeing Superman 3 when I was a small kid, and it scared me bad.
Oh,
It was the scariest movie I ever saw was seeing Superman 3.
Superman 3 starring Christopher Reeve.
Yeah, there's a scene in Superman 3 where there's like there's this big evil computer, and there's a scene where a a wall of computer parts sucks in this woman and then tries to take over Superman, and it's super scary. It's like wires coming out of the wall and going into the skin. And I remember when I was a kid how bad that scared me. Also, Superman
oh,
3 is where you get like the evil duplicate Superman, and it was a pretty scary movie for a kid. But I think I love Superman because of that. I mean, as an adult, we look back on Superman 3 and call it like one of the worst Superman movies. But since it was my first when I was a kid, it was sort of my introduction to the whole universe. And I thought it was cool to see that they had Superman have weaknesses other than kryptonite in the movies.
Is that movie? I think the one where he was pitted up against this baby created by Lex Luthor from a nuclear explosion. Was that
That
Superman
was
3 or
Superman
2?
4.
Oh, that is
yeah, that was
4.
Nuclear Man, I
Yeah.
think.
Nuclear Man.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, and I saw that when I was a kid too, and I actually really liked that movie as a kid. It they call it one of the worst well, like the worst Superman movie ever made, but I enjoyed it when I was a kid. I thought it was a fun movie.
yeah, if you're a kid with an innocent mind about movies, you will enjoy that. And most likely it's because you belong to the demographics of audience at the time.
Well, one of the great things we got to experience in the last few years was John Cryer playing Lex Luthor on Supergirl, and
Hmm.
get to see him really play Lex Luthor right. And I think it was probably one of the best live action versions of Lex Luthor that ever existed was John Cryer playing Lex Luthor. And it was a bit of redemption for him because in Superman 4, he played Lex Luthor's nephew.
One
Oh,
of
okay.
our friends, Kimir Ray Tupas Magpayo. Good evening, guys. Good evening, Kim. Now, there's just too much in my mind that I want to ask you about. Like, what was your first reaction when you heard that they're gonna make that there are plans to turn Clark Kent into a to an African American descent character?
My first reaction is cool. I can't wait to read it. My
Hmm.
first reaction to any of those, you know, they get creative in stories and do things a little different. It's just stories. It's just a way to see things a little different and get different points of view for whatever time. I mean, if you look back when the story started, the characters are different from back in the day, and that's good. I there's nothing wrong with changing the origins of the characters to appeal to different audiences. And I mean, not even nothing wrong with. It's a good thing. It's exciting.
Yeah, now just
Yeah,
a piece of trivia. We actually have a Filipino version of Superman, which was released way back. We call him Captain Barbell, and he's this scrawny guy, and it's just like Thor, where instead of he holds up his
uh,
hammer, he lifts
yeah.
this really big barbell, a golden barbell, and when he goes
Barbell,
Captain
the
Barbell,
one used for weightlifting.
he goes Captain Barbell, boom, and then he becomes this version of Superman. He's like a Superman ripoff, but yeah, he's like a crossover between Superman and Shazam because the guy who plays him is really scrawny, and then he becomes this really big buff guy. So I guess he counts as Filipino Superman. Then we also have, I think we had Steel before, played by Shaq, and I think he counts as one of the Supermen.
I remember when Steel was introduced, when they did the Death of Superman line, and there were it was so many different versions of the character, and it was like Steel was what a somebody who took the inspiration of Superman and used their knowledge and technology to be able to take the place of Superman since Superman was gone. Steel was a good character. And while there are flaws in the Shaq movie, it's a fun movie to watch.
Yeah, going back to the Black Superman, as a comic book fan, I prefer a real black character like Valzad. I think well, he is the real Black Superman. He is the president of the United States, and I feel like he hasn't been given enough exposure to the mainstream audience. I just can't wait for that to happen.
I remember when it was introduced. I don't remember it that well though. I remember it was inspired by Barack Obama. I do remember that. I thought that was
Yeah,
cool.
yeah. I think if they intend to make a Black Superman movie, I think they should focus more on Val Zod. I think it deserves some exposure, but that's just me. Uh, Another question is, what about replacing Henry Cavill? Are you in favor of that, or you want him to stay?
You know, the Warner Brothers DC movies don't have a good place in my heart. I remember when I saw Man of Steel and was like, the first thought was Zack Schneider is taking this character in the wrong direction. Um, Now, I think Henry Cavill's a great actor, and he
That's just
there's just too much history now that we've had Man of Steel and Batman versus Superman and Justice League. Yeah, I think it should be rebooted with a new actor, and I I I mean, as someone who really enjoyed the Brandon Routh Superman and how they were continuing the legacy of Christopher Reeve, but I mean, I'm not maybe the audience for it. I'm an older guy who grew up with Christopher Reeve, and it's like it's hard for me to look at the Henry Cavill Superman and think of it as my Superman when I think of it more of as like a darker kind of take on the role that was inspired by Batman Begins and trying to go in a grittier direction. But I thought it went too far and got away from what the point of the character is, in that it's the point of Superman is bringing a hopeful, bringing a taking a powerful character who is going to be the example of incorruption in the world rather than portraying him as a god kind of lording over the world. Now, one thing I think would be a very good use for the Henry Cavill Superman is go in the injustice direction
Oh,
and use the
Right,
Henry
right.
Cavill Superman to be the the
the
evil
villain.
Superman that
Evil
punches through the
Superman.
Joker. Yeah, I
Yeah.
think Henry Cavill would be great. And then they could introduce the new Superman as the Superman that takes down evil Superman.
Oh,
From another
oh.
timeline.
Yeah,
It could be like that because
but I think Henry.
the other Flash characters are not even Ezra Miller. It could be uh, Grant Gustin, and the Batman could be different actors too.
I'm excited to see if Grant Gustin shows up in the Flash movie. I think they're trying to hold that close to the vest, but it would be really cool if they did that. Being that Ezra Miller showed up on the Infinite Crisis series on CW.
Good thing he didn't have to swallow the bar. I know, because we also have a Wonder Woman ripoff in the Philippines. She's called Darna.
Yeah, but
She gets a stone, and when she
i-
swallows it, she turns into Wonder Woman. She is.
but interestingly, the local character here in the Philippines, Darna, according to some historians on pop culture, the character Darna was created years before the Wonder Woman character was produced. I don't know if there's some truth to that piece of information, but looking at the costume of Darna, I would really say she is a Wonder Woman inspired character, and I think that's fine. You know, I enjoy the character, following that character growing up. And anyway, going back, have you seen the Zack Snyder's Justice League, that 4 hour long movie?
I have not.
Not yet.
I have not. I can go.
Why?
I can go further. I have never seen Zack Snyder's Justice League uncut. I've never seen Justice League. I
It would be very interesting to talk to you after you see that film.
I have I mean I'm familiar with the idea. It's just when Justice League originally came out, I was like, I don't like where this is going. I don't like I've heard about the idea of all the recuts, and then they came out with the Zack Schneider cut, and I don't like the direction that movies are going with releasing director's cuts later to try to redeem movies and squeeze more cash out of audiences. I I have gone into like Legion and some of the other HBO Max series that are in that universe. Like I like the portrayal of Connor Kent on Legion,
Mhm.
the Superboy.
Mm.
Um, and I think HBO Max is doing great things, but I did not watch the Zack Snyder Justice League just because I think DC really needs to start over. I think it's gone too far. They're trying to squeeze as much as they can, and it's not good for audiences. I um I did watch um the new Suicide Squad though, and I did appreciate
Mhm.
that, but I did not watch Zack Snyder cut.
Mhm.
I so sorry I didn't give you content there.
It's okay.
No, it's okay. It's all right.
I think the Sliga has more controversial questions.
Controversial questions.
Yeah, just kidding.
Well, well, one controversial question is this, because there are rumors flying around that there are huge companies who are going to be buying the Time Warner DC franchise. So Time Warner and DC is up for sale now, and you've got companies such as HBO, Netflix that want to buy it. But one of them is Disney. So one of the biggest players who could potentially buy out Warner and DC would be Disney. So we also checked the Eternals trailer, and in that trailer there was this kid who asked, "Hey, you know what? You're just like Superman." And I was like, "Ah, okay." So they mentioned the name Superman in a Marvel trailer. So what's going on?
That
So
means
there's
that
this.
there's comics, right? That means that in the Marvel universe they have the Superman comics. So Superman exists as a fictional character.
Okay,
Mm.
that could
Uh,
be it, or it's possible that we could be
Me,
seeing
I have
Marvel
this
and
feeling
DC
that something
crossover.
has already happened.
oh,
I
like
have this feeling that
you think that Disney
something is
already
already
cut the
behind the
deal?
scenes.
Well, I don't know if you guys are aware, but in the '90s, Marvel and DC did a comic run where they did Marvel versus DC, and then
Yeah.
they did the
Oh yeah,
amalgam
DC.
comics. Um, are you implying that if Disney could cut a deal, we could see something like that happen in the movies?
Yes,
That's what the Sly guy is implying,
precisely.
but I'm doubtful about that. I have a feeling that something is already happening behind the scenes, and you don't expect huge corporations to tell us immediately, "Hey, we're already together." I think there are pieces of hints going on. That could be a sign, and I am hoping that it would come into reality that both universes meet each other and in the end unite for the common good because that's what heroes are supposed to be. It would be fun in this lifetime to see that happen, and I'm sure everybody agrees. It would be nice to see Batman and Iron Man in a confrontational script about the best tactical formula to beat the enemy. It's my wishful thinking.
Maybe a flashback episode because Iron Man, they killed him off in the MCU already. But for me, what I
Or
want to
maybe
see is,
no, maybe Spider-Man because Iron Man's already dead.
yeah,
Maybe
Batman versus Spider-Man.
Spider-Man or Peter Parker telling Bruce Wayne, "You know what? You remind me of someone." That could be very dramatic.
Yeah, but you remind me of someone I knew. And oh, but he's rich. He has these gadgets. Wow, he's just like Tony. All of a sudden, he just has this liking to him, and then they go against Carnage and the Joker, or Venom and the Joker. So we could have different types of crossovers from Marvel DC. But one crossover I want to see is Hulk versus Superman. I
That's what I
mean,
was gonna say.
yeah, who do you think would win in Hulk versus Superman?
Um, you know, it happened in the comics. It happened in the comics. They did the Hulk versus Superman, and it was Professor Hulk. It was the Hulk that we currently have in the Marvel universe, and Superman won
Oh,
because Professor Hulk is not as strong as Savage Hulk.
mm,
Savage Hulk, unlimited strength, probably going to win that fight. But I mean, Superman has tactics and intelligence, and you know, might throw the Hulk into space. but yeah, that I mean, we've seen Superman beat the current version of the Hulk in the comics already. So I would go on logic and say that Superman would win fighting the Hulk right now.
okay.
Michael Alex Apostol says hi.
Hello, Michael.
Rainier Romance
Hello.
Queta shares this video. Kim, honestly, I was hesitant to watch Justice League as well because there was a lot of bashing. Finally, JL and JL Snyder Cut was released, so I watched both movies to see where the hate is coming from. After watching both, I can say that Snyder Cut is way better. Yeah, actually, it's way
My
better.
Yeah.
My question for the people who say that the Snyder Cut is way better: is it a good movie? I
For
mean,
my taste, it was.
yeah, like it's better than the original Justice League, but is it good on its own? Like if it was released first, would we have called it good, or are we only calling it good because it's better than the original?
I think you would call it
Good
good.
question.
Yeah,
If you're a comic book fan, you would say you would appreciate that.
I'll
If you're
have
not,
to watch it. I'll have to watch it.
because
You know,
a lot of people keep on bashing one film after the other. The thing is, you're not a comic book fan. That's why you don't understand what guys like me or the Sly guys looking for. There, yeah, you were right. There are these social justice warriors. There are these critics claiming to be the expert on all film genres. But yeah, if you get to see the Zack Snyder vision, you appreciate that as a comic book fan.
so I came on here where the idea of talking about Superman, and I have a question for both of you, and I this
Oh,
is something
sure, sure.
Sure.
that's been eating my brain ever since you Sly invited me to come on.
Hmm.
Um, so one of the big arguments about Superman is Superman's boring because Superman is indestructible, unbeatable, super powerful.
It's like the kryptonite is just an excuse
Yeah.
for the author to give him some weakness.
So is Superman a boring character or is Superman an excellent, amazing character? And why? That's my
I,
question.
well, I think he's an exaggerated character. As an adult, you see it that way, but as a kid, you dream of being him.
Yeah.
It's a character designed for kids, not for adults. Apparently, the kids that we were before, now we're adults, we get to have different perception of what a character is supposed to be. And I think that's where the conflict in our minds begin to bother our interest. But my admiration for the Siegel brothers, for the Superman character, it never changed. I love that character until now.
Okay,
Well,
well, in my case, um, the hero good Superman is boring. Like goody two shoe Superman is boring, but evil Superman, he is cool. In the game Injustice,
The evil Superman is
man,
very interesting.
evil Superman is so cool because even Supergirl has a hard time fighting him, and Batman has to use all kinds of tricks like this powered up suit and a kryptonite dagger just to wound him. And even Black Adam is on his side, so Batman has to deal with both him and Black Adam. So it's it really makes him like as an evil overlord, he's cool, but as a hero, he's boring because if you have him on your side, then instantly you win. But if you're fighting against him, then that makes it interesting. You're gonna wonder how are they gonna beat this guy? How are they going to beat super invincible evil Superman?
I think when you're focusing on Superman as like when you're reading a Superman comic and it's just him fighting the bad guys, yeah, Superman can be a little bit boring because I mean, even if his weaknesses come into play, you know he's going to win. He's the good guy. I think Superman becomes interesting when it becomes more talking about him as a character where Superman is an alien who was adopted, and you have the story of an adopted immigrant um, learning to be human, learning to be part of society, and having abilities that bring him above everyone else. That's when Superman starts becoming interesting when you're focusing more on the character and not just focusing on that he's indestructible and unbeatable and he fights bad guys.
Right. So if you can make him sort of like a Peter Parker ish character, where
Yeah, and he's not just a super powered godlike being. He's also an immigrant to this planet who has become part of this planet. I mean, there's a lot of great stories involving the idea that where they focus on the idea of adoption and the idea of the fact that he is human because he's adopted and he was raised human and he relates to people and his relationships, and but he's also being Kryptonian is also part of his identity. So you can relate to a lot of different things that can appeal to a lot of people. It's not just an indestructible alien that fights the bad guys. It's
Mm,
also something people can relate to based on the ideas of adoption and immigration.
yeah, or perhaps make him show the human side of Superman. Like he saves people, nobody knows about it. When he goes home, he has to pay rent.
Yeah.
And he goes, "Oh, where am I gonna get?" When he has to work part time, and then
Reporter's salary.
he then works part time as an Uber driver or something. You make him Uber Superman. Like, oh, madam, where do you want to go? And when the car breaks down, is hold on, madam. Remember, you didn't see anything. Phew! But when he flies the car over to wherever he needs to be.
Kim says, I think it's all a preference thing, as we all have our own biases with characters and movie adaptations. Whether you find it good or not, the best way I think is to actually watch it.
And I
Yeah.
definitely will. I will watch it at some point. I but yeah, there are biases, and that's why I've stayed away from it at this point. It's just the whole idea of the DC expanded universe has alienated me terribly, unfortunately.
Mm. Yeah, I have that. I had that feeling too because I kind of feel like it was rushed. The Justice League movie. I think the Justice League movie was made for the producers to earn quick, not to satisfy the comic book fans.
And the idea of Zack Snyder's tragedy happening during the creation of the movie did affect things a lot, and it's
Mhm.
great that we were able to eventually get the Snyder cut. It's fantastic, especially for him. It's nice to see his vision actually being shown. The The one thing though is I'm not completely cynical. I think Warner Brothers has good things. I think the DC animated universe is probably one of the best versions of the DC universe that
The
exists. I
Lego
mean,
Batman movie was good, and that's also from Warner Brothers.
yeah. Have you seen the Justice League Dark series?
The animated, the
Yeah, with
live.
John Constantine and Batman
Yeah,
and
yeah.
oh,
And
Mm,
Batman had to
it's
gather
excellent.
these mystical powered characters. I love that. I enjoyed that. The Long Halloween. I enjoyed that.
I haven't seen that one yet. I'm excited. I need to see
oh
that one.
wow.
I haven't seen that one yet.
I
So who
think
does he go against in the Long Halloween?
it's like a former. I forgot the name, but it was a former sensei something with evil possession stuff, something like that. I don't want to spoil you, but there's something that Batman did in the end that really surprised me. Kim says Justice League
J.L.
Dark.
Dark.
Yeah, that rocks.
That rocks. Oh yeah.
Yeah, Justice League Dark was incredible. I and the Apocalypse War. Oh my gosh, I never expected to see John Constantine being pulled into something so epic. Um, and bringing it back to Superman. Superman's weakness to magic is, I think, my favorite stories of Superman. When they bring that up, the Superman going against things like being involved with like the Man Thing or Doctor Fate and John Constantine, um, Swamp Thing. I think those are my favorite stories when they're explored, and that's probably because my first comic had Superman going up against Voodoo.
Okay.
Michael Alex Apostol says, how many Supermans or Supermen might be do we have in the DC world or DC universe? I
Hmm.
have no idea.
There
I
used
have
to be
no
a
idea.
comic book which showed how many they were.
How many can we think of?
Let's see. There's
But
Steel. You've
well,
got
there's this. There's this
Superboy.
live action.
Eradicator, Cyborg Superman.
Yep, Cyborg Superman. Bizarro.
Um,
Does Bizarro count as one of the
Yeah,
Supermen?
yeah.
Oh, yeah,
I think
Bizarro
Perhaps
counts.
Bizarro counts. Bizarro, any of the different versions of Bizarro count.
there's this live action animation. It's called Crisis on Infinite Earths. Crisis on Infinite Earths, and if the Earths in that comic book universe is really infinite, then there's just too many of the Superman characters out there.
I think out of all the different versions of Superman, I think I have two favorites: is All Star Superman and Red Sun Superman.
The Red Sun,
Yeah, the Red Sun Superman. Ah, such a great story.
The
Weird ending.
Russian.
Good story. Weird
Was
ending.
that the Russian Superman?
That's the Russian Superman.
Oh, okay. So he
What
sounds
was the
just like
title of the other
Colossus.
one?
Yeah, I don't want to spoil Red Sun Superman if you haven't gotten into it, but it has a wild ending. It has a really surprising wild ending.
Okay.
I
Sounds
couldn't
interesting.
remember. Wait. The Red Sun. Superman is dying
That's
slowly but
All Star
surely.
Superman as Superman is
Also, All
dying.
Star Superman.
Yeah.
I'm gonna Google it.
Yeah, there were movies made for both. All Star Superman had some really cool stories about like Superman's relationship with Lex Luthor. There were Superman's relationship with his powers, and there were some little stories inside it, like him spending more time with Lois and involving his relationship, and it kind of explores more like Superman's effect on the world and what would the world be like without him, and how does he prepare for that. You get more into the personality and the character of the characters involved, including Lois and Lex and Superman. It digs real deep.
Kim says it's changed a bit since it was introduced, but the current DC multiverse states that there are 52 different Earths in existence, all occupying the same space, but vibrating at different frequencies. So there are
So
signals per
those are the
Earth.
herbs that Flash keeps jumping to. If Flash
Where to
switched
check
to a
out that Red Sun, Superman, Red Sun. I think this is the Russian Superman.
Well, the original
Thank you.
comic, the movie came out last year. I think it's on HBO Max. I don't know about in the Philippines, but I the Red Sun Superman is on HBO Max here. Um,
oh,
the original comic was an Elseworlds comic, and you could probably
Mm.
find it on Comixology. I wouldn't be surprised. But I do know that a lot of the different YouTube channels that cover comics have done Red Sun Superman. So you could probably watch the synopsis on Comic Explained or Comixology or something like that. You could watch one of the YouTube channels that does comic overview to see Red Sun.
okay.
Red Sun's really cool because it Superman's ship crashes in Russia instead of Kansas, and he's raised as like this symbol of the Russian government. And
Mhm.
um, you have an entire different Batman in that universe. You have an entire different Wonder Woman in that universe. It's
Wow.
a really really interesting
You
story.
have an entirely different Green Lantern Corps in that universe.
Oh yeah, and Lex Luthor and Lois Lane are married, and oh, you get all sorts of crazy cool
Oh
stuff.
Yeah, yeah.
man, that'd be a cool
Oh, I
Elseworld.
remember for Long Halloween, the name of the villain was Holiday.
Long Halloween is like Batman Year Two kind of story. Like he's only been Batman for a little while.
Yeah, and he had to go back to his roots of his training. His former sensei gets killed. Anyway, I don't want to spoil you, but
Sensei
it's
Ra's al Ghul gets killed.
something. It's actually more than that.
Oh, okay.
it's available somewhere on the internet. You can actually download it
Yeah, and
if
what's
if
sad, it
that's what you
used
do.
to be available in a shop called Comic Quest here. We had Comic
Mhm.
Quest everywhere, and now Comic Quest is gone. They shut down last year. So no more long boxes. We can't go searching through long boxes for back issues anymore. The only place to get comics now in the Philippines is online because even if you go to one of our stores, Phil Bars, and then you go, "Hey, I'd like to check Superman." No, no, we only have Archie comics, but you can order from us, and it will okay. So I'll just order it online because I
Kim
can get it much
says,
cheaper there.
I watched it on Soap today. I can't send the link here as it will be blocked.
Oh yes, it will be blocked. I guarantee
Sure,
you.
thank you, says Mike.
The entire episode will be blocked.
You have more
I
Please
have a
questions,
don't send the
Sly?
question.
link here.
I have a question about comics in the Philippines.
Yeah, sure.
Can you get trades there? Can you get I brought this just to show off. I have my Superman Unchained New
Whoa,
52.
nice.
The new
But
52.
because I know you can get Superman
An
Red Sun as a
omnibus.
trade out here. You can get like the whole Superman Red Sun as one book.
Mhm.
Yeah, we do have trades in Power Books in page one, but they sell out super fast. So normally, when they launch an omnibus, like the last time they launched the X-Men omnibus here, the Jim Lee version, um, at the malls open at about 9 a.m. and the line was like, man, just believe the line outside the
As early as
bookstore was
7 a.m.
as early as 7 a.m. You had, I don't know if they were probably camping out there or they slept in the mall, but the line was pretty long. So you have to fall in line, and by the time you get into the bookstore, oh, sorry, we're all sold out, but you can order again, and then it'll come here after how many number of months. That's it. But yes, we do have trades. We do have hard paperbacks, the omnibus available, but they sell out really fast, especially the more popular titles.
Well, when we were in grade school, the Sly guy and me, uh, we do trades inside the classroom. If I have a Green Lantern Corps origin comic book, and if the Sly guy has, let's say, Atlantis attacks of Marvel Comics, we can exchange that for the rest of our lives. I mean, okay, get my comic book, I'll get yours. That's how we do trades back in the day. It's an
Yeah, I think he's
exchange
talking
of
about the paperbacks,
ownership.
the hardbound copies of.
Yeah, we were talking like I don't know what they're called. I guess they're graphic novels, but when they do a trade, it's when they take a story of a comic and they put the whole story into one big heavy book, either a paperback or a hardcover.
Mhm.
And so this one is the Superman Unchained series from the New 52, which was like 10 issues originally, and instead it's just in one trade. But I do relate to your story about trading comics. I
Yeah.
definitely traded a lot of comics when I was in grade school myself.
Okay, so what was the best trade that you got? Like one that you didn't expect, where the book actually went up in value, or perhaps you traded it and you go, "Ha, this book is way better than what I gave him."
I think the best trade I ever did was I traded a bunch of common magic cards for a oh, it was the introduction of Carnage. I don't remember the name of the issue, but it was the
Oh,
introduction
oh
of
yes.
Carnage in Marvel. Um, it wasn't the issue with Carnage in it. It was the issue where um, they show Venom left the jail, and then they show Cletus Cassidy and the little drop of symbiote at the end, and it's he's going to become Carnage. That was the one I traded for, and I traded a box of common magic cards for it. That was probably my best
Wow.
trade.
Oh wow.
I
Yeah,
don't
because I
have
think
those
that's like
comics
a,
anymore, though.
yeah, it's like an $800, $900 comic now.
I don't have it anymore. My comics were. I had an unfortunate house fire.
Oh, sorry to hear about that.
Yeah, well, I was back in '98, but yeah, I had an unfortunate house fire. I lost most of my comics in a house fire.
Well, in my case, I lost mine in an unfortunate house flood.
Oh
Oh,
When
no,
yeah, when we had Ondoy way back in 2000, 2009. For some reason, my dad told the helpers to, because we were renovating the house, and then they told the helpers, take all his comics, put it down in the garage or something. Then it flooded, and so pissed.
Kimir,
I lost my collection.
Kimir says he likes Brandon Routh as the Atom. He fits that better. Can you
uh,
guys let us know which version of actors of Superman you like best and love to hate?
Khmer. I liked Brandon Routh. I like Brandon Routh. I mean, Kevin Spacey is a monster. I will say that, but I did like his version of Lex Luthor. I liked that movie. I like Superman Returns. Um, I the only thing I didn't like about that story was Superman having a kid the way he did. I thought that was a little lame, but I did like that movie, and I liked Brandon Routh Superman. I thought the chain gun and the bullet deflecting off of Superman's eye was one of the most iconic scenes ever in a Superman movie.
I
Um,
cannot forget that scene.
but I do agree that Brandon Routh is a fantastic Atom. Sly, what was your favorite portrayal of Superman?
Well, mine, the only guy who I still see as Superman is still Christopher Reeve, because he basically he's the Superman I grew up with. And if you remember, before Christopher Reeve, there was this black and white Superman,
Mhm.
where a really, really old version of Superman. It was played. I forgot the name of the actor.
George
Was
Reeve.
George Reeve. Oh, okay, right, right. Yeah, and so when I first saw one of the first Superman movies where he had to fly around the Earth because Lois Lane died in that movie, and he had to reverse time by spinning the Earth around. So when the Earth had to spin in reverse, so time would go back. And yeah, that's one of the first times I actually saw him. And all of the toys in the 90s were modeled after Christopher Reeve. So that's basically the only person who I recognize as Superman, just as how I recognize Michael Keaton as being Batman.
Well, I love them all. I'm not an acting expert or what, but I do appreciate what these actors wanted to do to give justice to the portrayal of the character. I can always say that the best for me, of course, yeah, Christopher Reeve, because physically the facial features, it really the charisma that he had to become Superman was, I think that was the best. The least in my Henry Cavill is fine. I think Dean Kane would be the last in my list, but he's also good.
Kane, Lois and Clark. Oh man, I forgot the
Yeah, yeah,
Dean Kane, Superman.
yeah. I think Lois and Clark ran for a few years for so many seasons.
Oh,
Oh, I'm
Dean
sorry.
Kane was fantastic. I do have to say though that Tyler Hoechlin on the new Superman on the CW, Tyler Hoechlin is amazing. I think he
Mhm.
every time he comes on a scene, I smile. I haven't seen Superman and Lois yet. I really want to.
I remember the one in my list. The lowest ranking for me would be Tom Welling, Smallville. I
Oh
felt like
yeah.
he could.
Really?
I think he could do better. There are times where I felt that there are scenes wherein he could have been in the mood to do better, or maybe something is running behind his thoughts while doing it. I enjoyed the first season of Smallville, but the next few seasons, I felt like there's something else like Tom could have done. I don't
I
know,
think
but
the
I'm a Smallville
decision to
fan.
not ever have him have the suit on was a bad decision. He never became Superman. I mean, they kind of had a little bit at the last episode, but it was it they by making it so he was not allowed to fly or be Superman, it limited the show too much.
Yeah, yeah,
Mm.
that's one thing. All right, Kim says, shout out to Easy Box Breaks Manila, Cards Bars USA, and Cards
Rose.
Bros Australia.
Australia.
I was obsessed with Carnage way back.
Oh yes.
I love Kevin
He
Spacey and
is fun.
everything. Love the money, but rather not. I think it's better as Atom. Movie Smallville for me was awesome, except for the ending. I feel like I was running low on budget. It was running low on budget and
And
creativity.
creativity.
When
All right,
I wanna share something before we jump to a different topic, but I so
yeah,
you
Sure.
mentioned that George Reeves played Superman in the old black and white series. This is an interesting thing. There is a movie called Hollywoodland, and it's about George Reeves playing Superman on the
Oh.
show, and Ben Affleck plays George Reeves.
hmm,
Wow.
So you
That's
can
cool.
actually see Ben Affleck wear the Superman suit.
And Batman as Superman. That's so cool. I'm gonna search for that after this.
Super Flack, Super Ben,
Superfleck.
Super Ben.
Yeah, so that's how Batman survived Superman's blows in the Justice League Snyder Cut. It's, it's because he was Superman one point in his life.
Sly Guy, do you have one final question?
Okay, final question. All right, so final question for Super Vegan Ryan. Now, if let's just say you were Superman, or you had Superman's powers, okay, what would be the very first thing you'd do?
If I had Superman's powers, the first thing I would do is check to see if I could erase my wife's memory with a kiss so I can get away with stuff.
Yeah.
I think Superman might have those powers. It's like the super kiss. It's like forget. Uh,
Is that
By
the
the way,
best answer? I think that's the best answer. What about
yeah.
you guys? What would you do if you had Superman's powers? What would be the first thing you did?
Uh,
um,
with me,
yeah,
I'd fly around the world. Basically, I'd go to some resort, and then I'd
I,
perform there, and then I'd ask for that people would start throwing money because I'm flying around, and then I'd use that to book a hotel. Yeah, I just go on
I'll be
vacation.
hanging out in the beach and use my X-ray vision,
Oh yeah, this is he's gonna become evil Superman in real life.
or maybe I could use the super speed to finish all my work in a minute and then enjoy more of an episode like this.
Oh
Oh
man,
yeah, that'd
imagine
be
how
cool.
fast you could read all your books. It would just be like, oh, let's read Lord of the Rings again. Boom, done.
Evil Superman, like a crossover between Superman and Death Note. Anyway,
Death
Super
Note
Vegan Brian,
Superman.
we just want to thank you. Would you like to promote your podcast?
Oh,
Yeah, the
thank you.
Nerd
Yeah.
Podcast.
If you want to check out Nerd Podcast Radio, we're on SoundCloud, soundcloud.com/Nerd Podcast Radio. You can also find us on other podcast platforms like iTunes. Just Nerd Podcast Radio, search for it like that. If you want to reach
If
out
you
to
have
us,
a
you can
link,
find us on Twitter at Nerdcast Radio or on Instagram at Nerd Podcast Radio.
would you like to put the link on the comment section so we can
I
show it?
have a link actually.
Cool.
I guessed it in their episode last week, so I can just post it.
Post it in the comment section so we can show that on screen.
Oh yes. Where is it?
And in the Nerd Podcast, you talk about
On Nerd Podcast Radio, we talk about all things pop culture,
yeah.
comics, video games, tabletop role playing games, video role playing games, Sometimes we talk about science and comedy. We have different guests on to talk about those things. We also do some improv and joke. It's a real comedy podcast. All sorts of different guests and a variety of hosts. We're actually going to be celebrating our 200th episode at the end of the year.
Wow.
Wow, nice. So yeah, we'll be sure to stay tuned for that 200 episode. Yeah, let me just share the link to him. Copy, copy, copy. Ah, okay.
Find the link.
Oh, my wife just messaged me and told me she heard what I said about Superman's powers, so I'm going to get in trouble.
Oh
And
no.
if ever that she has Supergirl's powers or maybe Wonder Woman's powers,
I think she already has Wonder Woman's powers because she can always get me to
Yeah,
tell the
she has
truth no
super
matter what.
hearing. Yeah, she was able to use super hearing to hear what you said a mile away.
Sly, where's the link? It would
I
not
sent it
appear
to
on
you on
streamer.
Facebook.
Facebook, okay.
And I don't have
Yeah,
the
so you can
ability
just
to post
copy.
in the comments because I didn't sign up when I joined.
I got it.
Oh, thanks, Kamir, for the congrats. I appreciate that.
Right.
Kimir is a playing cards, basketball cards trader.
Cool.
Yeah, they do something called box breaks where if you're a fan of a basketball team, what you do is you split the cost of a box, and then they just open packs, and then you get the members of your team, and they sell the rest of the cards.
So, Sly, this is the link for the Nerd Podcast, right?
Yep, that's right.
There's YouTube and there's it's all on Facebook. Anyway, Michael Alex Apostol says cheers to more episodes.
Oh
Yeah, that
yes.
works. That link will take you to the episode that Sly joined us on. Sly recently
Hmm.
joined us in an episode, and that link will bring you there. Um, yeah, please check us out. We appreciate it.
Yeah, you can check the other episodes there as well.
Yeah, and here's the link to see that episode. Anyway, it's already 12 a.m. here in the Philippines, so it's already a Sunday. And
Yep.
later, 9 o'clock in the evening, the Sly Guy and yours truly are coming back for another episode.
Oh, it's actually
Thank you.
11 because we're
Oh,
going to be
11.
talking
Yeah.
David Theobald III for Magic the Gathering Arena.
Oh, it's 11 in the evening, Manila Standard Time.
Yeah.
Super vegan Brian, super thank you, and lots of super love from us.
Cool.
We
It was great
enjoy
being here.
this. I hope it's not the last time. There's still a lot of things we want to talk to you about.
Oh, yes.
Not
Cool.
just Superman, but
We didn't talk
too many
about
stuff to
Brightburn
talk.
yet.
Cool. I'm happy to
I want to
come
talk to
back. It
you.
was a lot of fun.
Yeah, I want to talk to you about more on the DC side. I think too much of the mainstream audience all over the world have been exposed to Marvel, and I think DC needs to do more of it. And I'm a DC fan. Back in the 90s, I was a Marvel fan because of the X Men until they killed Doomsday killed Superman. It was released, and then it kind of turned my attention back to DC. I want to talk to you about things like that. I think it would be very interesting. But for now, it's time to, I think, for the Sly Guy and me to sleep. It's not that the Sly Guy and me are gonna sleep together. No,
Oh, yeah, absolutely not.
no, we're
This is not that
from
kind of
different
show.
sides of the country. And Super Vegan, thank you so much.
Thank
This
you.
has been David Beat with the Sly Guy. Welcome to the Geek Side Out, and see you again tomorrow. Same time, same Facebook page.
Same bad time, same bad channel.
Good night.
Bye.
Okay, bye.